that the country is waiting to hear, the illicit six. That would come to the House and go straight to the...
On a point of order, I do not know of what you're speaking, member. It's a... I don't know, no. Please remove that comment. Please remove that comment. That comment is inappropriate, doesn't belong in the House, and is not included in any document submitted in this Honourable House. Please remove your comment.
I've heard what you have said, Madam Speaker.
And Hansard, please strike the comment.
So let's say a special report comes to the House, Madam Speaker. It comes to the Speaker, as you have said, it would go directly to the Integrity Oversight Committee. The question that I'm asking is, when we had the issue with the Speaker, former Speaker of the House, the issue about conflict of interest arose. And there was a concern about individuals being on a committee who are subject of the report of the committee. I'm trying to figure out how one would be able to identify whether or not there would be any conflict of interest of the members who are part of the Oversight Committee, and how that would be dealt with.
The informative information presented in this video is motivational and is positively aimed at inspiring, educating and entertaining the viewers with the cutting edge of critical reasoning. If you enjoy the contents on the Black Radar YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to show your support.
This is Motivational. We want to present to you a wholesome kind of level of consciousness right now. So subscribe and tell your friend them. This is Motivational.
As Speaker of this Honourable House, I note the public commentary in some quarters regarding the role of the Speaker in tabling certain documents and the role of Parliament in addressing these matters. There is an untrue narrative of deliberate delay in tabling reports sent to this House. The fact is, there are no reports, not one report, either from the Integrity Commission or the Auditor General's Department, which have not been tabled. Additionally, all reports were tabled as prescribed at the soonest possible time. My predecessor made certain pronouncements on the tabling of reports from the Integrity Commission and the Auditor General's Department for public bodies, which, as Speaker, I have reviewed and must address. It is expected as legislators, we should have a sound understanding of the law, as it is us who craft, debate, and pass the laws which govern us. It is also my understanding that when the court is interpreting the law, the very court may review the records of Hansard to see what the intention of the Parliament was at the time of enactment and amendment. Honorable members, I did a comprehensive review of the correspondence, had extensive discussions with the Clerk of the Houses, consulted with the Chief Parliamentary Counsel and speakers from other Commonwealth jurisdictions. It must be made clear that the advice received is not instruction. It is meant to guide the decisions of the House and meant to inform the actions of the Speaker. Therefore, the opinion or advice doesn't absolve the Speaker or the House from a duty to clearly understand the legislation and the standing orders in a manner that is consistent with its own legislative jurisdiction and wisdom. The opinion of the Parliamentary Legal Council, which considered all correspondence between the Parliament and the Attorney General and the Auditor General, is available for your perusal. Members, based on some utterances, there seems to be a clear misunderstanding of the legislation in respect of the distinction between ministries, departments, and agencies versus public bodies. It is important that it is understood that the entities are different. For our benefit, here are some of the key differences. While the Auditor General is mandated by legislation, and the Constitution so mandates that the Auditor General audits central government, which include MDAs, public bodies by law engage their own auditor. The Attorney General, while being the chief legal advisor to the government, for public bodies, they engage their own attorneys. Similarly, it is important to note public bodies do not report to permanent secretaries in ministries, as obtains or applies for ministries, departments, and agencies. Instead, public bodies have their own CEO and a board which manages these entities and report directly to the responsible minister. I do hope this provides some clarity. The ruling is as follows. Reports from the Integrity Commission. It is my considered view that reports submitted to the Parliament under Section 36 and 54 of the Integrity Commission Act should be treated as indicated here. A report made on the request of the House of Parliament under Section 36(1). This report will be tabled as soon as possible, as the nature of the report is that it's a request from the Houses of Parliament. It will require the quick action of the members of the House of Representatives once it is submitted for tabling. After it is tabled, it is then to be directed to the attention of the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee in keeping with the Standing Orders 73DE. Re-annual reports submitted under Section 36(2). Once the report is submitted to Parliament, it will be sent to the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee for consideration and report. Once the committee has completed its deliberation, both the reports of the committee and the relevant report from the Integrity Commission will be tabled thereafter. Special reports submitted under 36(3) will be treated in the same manner as a report under 36(2), referenced above. Reports of the Director of Investigations submitted under Section 54.4 will be tabled as soon as possible after receipt by the Parliament, having regard to the serious nature of the matters that are contained therein. It will require the immediate and direct attention of the House. After it is tabled, it will then be submitted to the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee for their consideration and report. Kindly note, all reports from the Integrity Commission will be reviewed by the officers before they are tabled, and it will be tabled in the soonest possible time. No effort will be made to delay such reports. The ruling re-reports from the Auditor General Department on Public Bodies. Ruling is as follows. Reports from the Auditor General's Department on Public Bodies will be tabled in keeping with the Public Bodies Management and Administration Act, enacted 2001 under Section 13A and or Section 30 of the Financial Administration and Audit Act. Particularly of interest is its amendment in 1992, which recognized public bodies. Such reports must be submitted in keeping with the procedure outlined therein, and also provided in Section 13B of the Public Bodies Management and Accountability Act and Sections 31 of the Financial Administration and Audit Act. Members, the discussions in this Honorable House underscore the need for consistent assessment of legislations with a view to amending where necessary, where clarity is further required. Also, it is critical for the Standing Orders Committee to undertake a comprehensive review of these standing orders with a view to making the suggested amendment for debate and approval by this House to enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of written rules. Members, I think that the rules which govern us are within our purview to amend as a parliament as we see fit, so that we are all clear in respect of the understanding thereof. I have made available copies which will be sent around in respect of the opinion given.
Speaker, thank you. I'm seeking clarity on a couple of matters. First, you indicated that the officers would review reports from the Integrity Commission. Could you indicate who those officers are and what the purpose of the review would be before the reports are tabled? That's first. Secondly, you said annual reports would be sent to the Oversight Committee and special investigative reports before they are tabled. I'd like to understand the rationale for that vis-a-vis other reports from the Integrity Commission, which would be sent directly to the Speaker and be tabled. My understanding of the role of the Oversight Committee is that the Oversight Committee would have it would be outside the scope of the Oversight Committee to opine on an annual report or even a special investigative report. So I'm trying to understand what the rationale is for sending it there first before it is tabled here. Those are my questions, preliminary.
Madam Speaker, further to the questions asked by the member from Southeast St. Andrew, my understanding is that committees of Parliament act on behalf of the full House. So matters that are referred to the House, matters that comes to the House and is referred to the committee, that committee acts on behalf of the House. If the House does not know what the committee is acting on its behalf, it seems a little bit, not clear. In other words, a committee of this House, the Oversight Committee, the Integrity Oversight Committee, for example, gets a report that is sent to the House, not sent to the committee, sent to the House. The House does not know, meaning us, the members, do not know the contents of that report for which the committee will be acting on. So if you could give me some clarification on that.
Madam Speaker, just one clarification, because I understand you to be saying that the reports will go to the committee, the Oversight Committee, but the operations of this Oversight Committee is public. The media is here, so the media will be exposed to those reports even before the members here. So I just want to see if you could clarify that aspect.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In addition to the questions that are being asked, Madam Speaker, I needed a little clarity myself, so just to be clear. So let's say, for example, a special report is tabled on the matter that the country is waiting to hear, the illicit six. That would come to the House and go straight to the...
On a point of order, I do not know of what you're speaking, member. It's a... I don't know, no. Please remove that comment. Please remove that comment. That comment is inappropriate, doesn't belong in the House, and is not included in any document submitted in this honorable House. Please remove your comment.
I've heard what you have said, Madam Speaker.
And Hansard, please strike the comment.
So let's say a special report comes to the House, Madam Speaker. It comes to the Speaker, as you have said, it would go directly to the Integrity Oversight Committee. The question that I'm asking is, when we had the issue with the Speaker, former Speaker of the House, the issue about conflict of interest arose. And there was a concern about individuals being on a committee who are subject of the report of the committee. I'm trying to figure out how one would be able to identify whether or not there would be any conflict of interest of the members who are part of the Oversight Committee, and how that would be dealt with. I'm also wondering...
No, I don't think I will be able, if I have so many questions at the same time, remember them all to respond.
I'm hoping
so I'm going to ask you to hold. I'm going to commence responding,
okay,
and then I'll ask you to continue.
Thank you.
I'm going to answer your question first. I don't know that you have read or listened to the ruling. Reports submitted in the way you have asked are reports under Section 54. And Section 54 has those reports being tabled first in the Parliament at the soonest possible time, and then subsequently sent to committee. The rulings, as you have heard them today, is based on let me repeat, the Act, Integrity Commission Act, the FAA Act, the Public Bodies Management and Accountability Act, the Standing Orders, and a comprehensive review of all, including the opinions submitted from the Attorney General's Chamber, the Parliamentary Legal Counsel. In respect of who will read the report, I do not recall your second two questions. I indicated to the Parliament before, and I hold that view. The officer reading the report would be the Speaker, as in the case of the lower house, or the President in the case of the upper house. The intent is not to read for any purpose more than to appreciate what it is that you are signing to be tabled in Parliament. Every single thing that is on the agenda for Parliament, every item, every question asked, every bill, every motion, every single thing that is placed on the agenda, the Speaker in the case of the lower house and the President in the case of the upper house is required to appreciate that they are placing on the agenda. No, so there's nothing that the Speaker or the President can do with the report. But, and in some cases, there are other things on the agenda that the Speaker or President have the ability to make amendments on. What is required is that, as presiding officers, we follow the law. We obey the law. Now, I will not get into the discussions about media and at what point who have. What I would like to make absolutely clear is that the standing orders and the laws guide us. And therefore, the comment I made in terms of us as a Parliament feeling that the legislation needs amendments, the standing orders need amendments, it is us who are required to do that work. The opinion I formed was a strongly formed one because it was supported in every way by the Attorney General's Chamber and the Parliamentary Counsel, Legal Counsel as well. I do not know if there are any other.
Speaker, I'd asked 3 sets of questions.
I answered the first,
right.
So I'll get to the next.
I asked what is the rationale for sending the annual reports and the special investigative reports to the committee before they are tabled in the House.
You may take your seat, member. The rationale is, it is the law and the standing orders. So the rationale is obeying what the instructions are in the law for the mechanism to be used by the Parliament. I read it, so please read section 36.1. Sir, yes, section 36.2, section 36.3, and 54. And I will also share the legal opinion. I cannot share what I have not read or appreciated. Member Hannah? Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was seeking clarity, Madam Speaker, on the section that you read, where you were saying that the Parliament could amend the rules. I would just like you to read that section again for me, so I didn't hear it correctly or properly. And I have a follow-up question once you read it.
I indicated that some of the discussions we have had underscore the need for constant assessment of the legislations with a view to amending where we as the Parliament think necessary. It is also critical for us to look at the standing orders, have the committee meet and undertake a comprehensive review of these standing orders with a view to making the suggested amendments for debate in the House and approval by the House so that it enhances the effectiveness, the efficiency of the written rules that govern us here in the Parliament and guides the proceedings of this chamber.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I appreciate the clarification. And there's no disagreement in terms, certainly from my position, in terms of wanting to review rules or legislation, because I don't think those things are static. And they shouldn't be, because what might have been relevant at a particular time might not be relevant to today. So I can appreciate that. My concern, however, and perhaps I am one of the few members in this House who many years ago had a report tabled from the Office of the Contractor General at the time, over 500 pages of a report. And at that time, the Speaker did not take particular positions, and it was tabled in a particular manner. So that is why I can say, and there was no wrongdoing in the report, anything. It just took a lot of my time, a lot of media time. And I think it is important that when people are being investigated, that certainly those of us who are in this House, because it can happen to perhaps any one of us as public officers. However, the point I would like to ask you, or the question I'd like to ask you, is at a time when politicians are seen as being, unfortunately, lumped as corrupt individuals. And it doesn't matter how hard we work, it doesn't matter what we do, it doesn't matter how many public things we file, all of us are lumped together. So if we are here,
let's know who.
All right, hang on. Members. So, Madam Speaker.
Members, please allow Member Hannah.
Madam Speaker.
Please allow Member Hannah to speak.
My major concern is that if we are now appearing as a Parliament to suggest to the public that in issues of controversy or what might be deemed as controversial, that we will take the position to change rules to suit us, that might not go down well. So I just want you to
I would like you to take note that your statement about changing rules is absolutely incorrect. The rules are actually not being changed. The rules are being so it is not us who are changing rules, and I do not want you to give that impression to the public. We are not changing rules. I do not know of which report you speak, but in the past, I'm going to finish before you continue. I have to be careful about some things. You'd like to clarify? Go ahead, clarify.
I asked you to read it, and what I said, Madam Speaker, we can't appear to be giving that impression.
And I wouldn't want you to appear to even say it.
So that is why I'm saying I asked for clarity, because the public might get the impression that that is what, if we're going to be looking and reviewing at this particular time. That's why I'm asking you just to make it very clear.
All right. So, Member Hannah, you are correct. The indication that we should review, it is not with a view of my instructing that any changes be made in any rules. The reason I have said I believe it is important for us to continuously interrogate or review our legislations is that we may find subsequently that what was passed may not have been our intent, what was our intent is not the practice. And so we should always go back to look at the legislations. Equally, the standing orders, which are the rules that govern us, are not necessarily all written out in all respects. And there may be issues that come from time to time where the House feels that instead of leaving it for the Speaker to rule or the President to rule, the House would like to now apply a rule which the Speaker or the President would be obliged to function in that mechanism as stated in the standing orders. And so my comment is where we believe we need to strengthen the legislation, strengthen the standing order, it is our job to do so.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, you did say that you had wanted me to pause, and I would have been given a chance to come back. And it is on that basis I'm coming back. Madam Speaker, again, it's just simple clarity that I require. And I suspect from what I've heard that what I'm going to say is true, but I'd want to get the clarity from you, that whatever the ruling is, and in keeping with the rules that govern us, that nothing here is meant to hide or obfuscate any ruling that might call any of us into question.
And member, I am telling you to stop it. Member, I'm telling you to stop it. I notice you like to make statements that you know the response to, and I would appreciate, if you do. Member, I would appreciate if you do not continue to do so in the future, because in doing so, you are actually all making an effort, I would think, to mislead the people of Jamaica. My statement started with there is an untrue narrative of deliberate delay in tabling reports sent to the House. And I will give you a copy of this. All right. We want to ensure as a parliament that it is understood that the concern raised by Member Hannah, where we are seen as corrupt, is because of exactly that behavior. Opposition leader. The opposition leader is on his feet. The opposition leader is on his feet. Members, the opposition leader is on his feet. Please allow him to speak. Please allow him to speak in silence. Members.
Madam Speaker.
Member Golding.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The idea of reports coming to Parliament and not being tabled immediately so that they become a matter of public record and public discussion is problematic for me. Because when things come to Parliament and are automatically referred to a committee on which the government side, whichever government is in office, the government side will dominate that committee in terms of the numbers and so on, and the scheduling and the agenda of that committee. So you could have a situation where a matter of public interest, a matter that is vital in terms of its impact on the governance of the country, is sent to Parliament, and because of this procedure, is sent to a committee without the members being aware of it, without the public being aware of it, because it's not tabled. And then the time frame for that committee to hear that matter is up to that committee to determine. I think that's a very unsatisfactory way of proceeding, and I can tell you it was never contemplated that the Integrity Commission's reports or the Auditor General's reports, which are about transparency and accountability in government, would be subject to a parliamentary procedure which runs against that objective and that principle. So I think that we are going down the wrong track by saying that we're going to henceforth be following a procedure which delays or postpones the tabling of documents, reports sent here, the Parliament of the land, by investigative bodies. And I'm asking again, Madam Speaker, can you please share with the House, the members of the House, the legal opinion or opinions that have been provided to you or your predecessor in your capacities as Speaker of the House, so that the members of the House can understand the legal basis of this position that is being taken. We've asked for this before, Madam Speaker. You've indicated that you're minded to do it, but we haven't seen it. So I'm asking if you could please remedy that. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader of Opposition. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you that the Attorney General's last letter came yesterday. We were in Parliament until 1 o'clock this morning, reading and updating as a result of it. So no effort was made to delay anything at all in respect of this matter. I will not go further in that regard, because it cannot be expected that as Speaker I will sit here and issue documents, do not read, do not understand, and be respected in governing the proceedings of this House. If the intention of the Parliament and the legislators at the time was to have all reports tabled immediately, it would have said that. The legislation said table in 31 and 54, subsection 4, in the soonest possible time. When the legislations are passed, it cannot be that we allow persons to think that in obeying the laws we are doing the wrong thing. We cannot cherry pick which laws we obey and which ones we are going to say it is not convenient to obey, so we are going to do something else. And so where we have had these issues, where, and I checked the Hansard, some previous speakers actually make no ruling. They just decide this makes sense and go ahead. I am making an effort to ensure that when history is written, this Speaker does what is right in the sight of the law.
The informative information presented in this video is motivational and is positively aimed at inspiring, educating and entertaining the viewers with the cutting edge of critical reasoning. If you enjoy the contents on the Black Radar YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to show your support.
This is Motivational. We want to present to you a wholesome kind of level of consciousness right now. So subscribe and tell your friend them. This is Motivational.